Good afternoon. You know, I was caught a little bit by, I think it was Brad Bailey's story about, was it your Joel? I was going to call him Jorge. About his story about Joel, about how Joel had longed for the dream and had accomplished it. You know, the American dream. I would suggest to you that that's the dream of every human being on the planet, whether they're from Mexico or wherever else they may be from. Every human being, I think, wants to do the best he or she can for him or herself and for their families. So when you're from a community, and I haven't been raised in a border community, born and raised in Brownsville, Texas, not far from McAllen, we're able to look at these things and at these issues through those kinds of lenses. The more recent awakening of this issue followed the 9/11 attacks and was bolstered by the violence in Mexico over the last non-PRI president and has of recent cooled down a bit. In facing this particular issue, from our standpoint, from a law enforcement standpoint, in McAllen, for example, we were bombarded with concerns. One was the suffering that our community may experience as a result of being caught in a label, if you will, of how bad the border was. And the result of that would be the economic impact to our community. And we're a department in a community that operates on budgets, so we were concerned about that. On the other hand, we were concerned about the snowball effect. The snowball effect that was taking shape and has, I think, been stopped a couple of times. I'm not sure if it'll start rolling again, but there was some movement at one point, and has been for some time, to require local law enforcement officers to basically do federal agents' work. And we simply cannot do that. We cannot, at a local level, undertake those kinds of responsibilities. We don't have the personnel to do that. So from a standpoint, our biggest concern was basically keeping at bay movement in that direction to tie down local law enforcement resources to do somebody else's job. You know, in the midst of all this, over the last few years, I've had to go across the state. Monica, being from McAllen as well, her and I have crossed paths across the state as well, talking about this and trying to address this without necessarily bringing any more attention to McAllen. But the reality has been that McAllen, in the midst of all this, has seen crime decreases that have not been seen in 22 years. At the end of 2012, we reported our crime report to the state of Texas. And it's the lowest crime volume and crime rate in a 22-year period in McAllen. I don't know beyond 22 years, so I don't have the data beyond 22 years. But it's counterintuitive to the big picture and that snowball effect that we've been somewhat caught under. And some of us have been involved with this. I saw Chief Acevedo walking in. How are you, sir? I think your seat's over here, sir. Oh. So with that, I'll pass the mic.